Ma'am, I don't care what card you're holding. Step aside before I call security. You look like you wandered in from economy. The words dropped like a slap across the lounge. Sharp, public, designed to sting. Erica Sullivan, the Skylux front desk attendant, didn't blink as she stood with one hand on her hip and the other gripping a tablet. Her voice rang out across the glass and leather expanse of the VIP lounge at San Francisco International Airport. Around her, polished travelers in designer suits and tailored coats turned their heads. They didn't speak, but their glances spoke volumes. And at the center of it all stood Dr. Maya Carter, calm, silent, observing. Her gray pantsuit was understated but crisp. Her shoes, flats, not heels, were worn for comfort. No jewelry, no flashy bag, just quiet authority. And Erica didn't see it, didn't recognize it. She saw a black woman who didn't fit. What Erica didn't know, what she was seconds away from learning. Was that Dr. Maya Carter was the CEO of this very airport. In exactly 15 minutes, she would fire Erica, the security officer backing her up, the manager watching from a hidden office, and the smug young man standing beside her. But not yet, because Maya was waiting to see how far they'd go, how deep the bias would run. Before we go further, let me ask, where are you watching from? Tell us your city in the comments. And if you've ever seen someone disrespected for how they look rather than who they are, tap that like button. Subscribe to this channel, because what happens next will remind you that sometimes power doesn't wear a name tag. It waits quietly and acts loudly. It was 4:38 in the afternoon. The Skylux VIP lounge buzzed with pre-flight energy. Champagne flutes clicked. Leather suitcases rolled across hardwood floors. Dr. Maya Carter had just entered the reception area, her passport in hand, ready to check in before her evening flight to Paris. It wasn't a vacation. She was heading to a partner meeting on sustainable airport expansion, one she had prepared for months in advance. Her Skylux membership was active. Her itinerary had been pre-cleared. She had every right to be there, but none of that mattered to Erica. The moment Maya stepped up to the podium, Erica's eyes narrowed. "Can I help you?" she asked, as if Maya had gotten lost. Maya smiled politely. "Yes, Dr. Maya Carter. I'm flying to Paris tonight. Here's my membership card." She handed over the card, polished black metal, engraved with her name. Erica barely glanced at it. "This card's not in the system," she snapped. "You can't be here." Beside her, Kevin Tran, a younger attendant with slicked back hair and too much confidence, leaned over and added, "This lounge is for premium members only. Not everyone with a shiny card gets in." His voice was low but cruel, the kind of tone that pretends to whisper while meaning to insult. Maya stood steady. "Please check again. I'm a Skylux member through my executive account." Kevin scoffed. "Executive of what?" Maya simply replied. "San Francisco International." Erica tilted her head. "Cute," she said. "But unless you're on the system, you need to leave." Kevin muttered under his breath. "She doesn't look like a VIP anyway." Maya heard it. So did a young woman sitting nearby, Isabella Lopez, who was sipping coffee near the window. She looked up, eyes narrowed. Maya remained poised. "Please verify my membership, or call your manager." Erica didn't move. Instead, she tapped her earpiece. "Laura, we have a situation," she said. "Someone trying to access the lounge with an invalid card." A crackle of radio static answered her. Then came the voice of Laura Bennett, the lounge manager, calm but cold. "Send security. Miguel's nearby." As Maya stood still, collecting her breath, a tall, stocky security officer approached. Miguel Ortiz, badge clipped to his belt, walked straight toward her. "Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to step away from the desk." Maya turned, voice even. I'm not leaving. This is my scheduled lounge access. You can verify that in your system. Miguel didn't blink. You've been flagged. I need you to exit now. At that moment, Isabella rose from her chair. Excuse me, she said, her voice firm. I saw her give you a valid Skylux card. Why are you treating her like this? Kevin rolled his eyes. Ma'am, please sit down. This doesn't concern you. Isabella stood taller. Actually, it does. I'm watching a woman being singled out because she doesn't look like the rest of you. That's my concern. Nearby, Ryan Kim, another passenger seated near the refreshments bar, pulled out his phone. He began filming, quietly at first. The lens caught Maya standing calmly, Erica pointing at her card, and Miguel beginning to step closer. Ryan captioned the video. Shock. Black woman kicked out of VIP lounge for not looking the part. Within the next hour, that video would hit 600,000 views. Meanwhile, Erica crossed her arms. I've seen this before. People flash fake cards, walk in like they own the place. Maya raised an eyebrow. So you're accusing me of fraud now? Erica didn't flinch. I'm saying you don't belong here. Your face isn't familiar. Miguel moved beside her. Let's go. Now. But Maya didn't budge. Check the database, she said. My name is Dr. Maya Carter. Look it up. Isabella's voice rang again, louder this time. Why haven't you checked it already? Kevin looked uneasy. System's down, he mumbled. Isabella shot back. How convenient. Then came the lowest blow. Erica leaned in and whispered just loud enough for Maya, and others, to hear. People like you, always trying to sneak into places they don't belong. The room fell silent. Even Kevin looked uncomfortable. Ryan kept filming. Maya stared at Erica, unmoving. You'll regret that, she said softly. But she didn't reach for her phone. Not yet. She needed more. She needed this moment to unfold in full. Because what she was witnessing wasn't just about her. It was about a system, a structure, one that had allowed people like Erica to carry out discrimination with a smile. And get away with it? Isabella turned to Ryan and whispered, They're going to regret this. Ryan nodded. His camera didn't stop rolling. The lounge staff didn't realize that in just a few minutes. The tide would turn. That the woman they were humiliating would soon make a call that would end all of their careers. That the quiet dignity standing before them wasn't just waiting. It was watching, remembering, and preparing to respond with power. Security to the front. She snuck in. Kevin's voice sliced through the lounge like a blade, loud and full of false authority. He stood behind the Skylux check-in desk, pointing directly at Dr. Maya Carter as though she were some criminal trespasser, not the CEO of the very airport he worked in. Heads turned. Conversations fell silent. The room shifted. Passengers watched, confused and uneasy, as Miguel Ortiz, the airport security officer stationed nearby, stepped forward again, his hand already resting near the radio on his belt. Unauthorized entry, Kevin repeated, this time more forcefully, as if saying it louder made it true. Maya remained standing in the exact same place she had been for the past few minutes, just inside the lounge entrance, beside a glass wall overlooking the tarmac. She hadn't moved an inch. She hadn't raised her voice. All she'd done was present a valid membership card and calmly ask to verify her information. That's a lie, Maya said firmly, but not angrily. I checked in right in front of you. I didn't sneak anywhere. Erica, still standing beside Kevin, scoffed loudly. You're not on the guest list, and you know it. Her eyes were filled with disdain, her tone sharp with accusation. Ryan Kim, who had already been filming from his seat near the espresso station, now angled his phone higher. He zoomed in on Kevin's finger and the unjustified drama unfolding at the edge of a quiet luxury space. He updated the caption, "Shock. VIP lounge staff falsely accuse black woman of sneaking in, while she stands calmly." Within minutes, that video would reach over 500,000 views. Isabella Lopez stood again, her brows furrowed in disbelief. "She didn't sneak in," she snapped. "I saw her walk through the doors like everyone else. She even scanned her card." Erica waved her off, but Isabella didn't back down. "This is harassment," she said, "and I think everyone here knows it." But the accusations only escalated. Laura Bennett's voice crackled through Erica's radio earpiece. "If she's not on the list, remove her. Period." Her words sounded rehearsed, cold. Miguel moved forward again, more assertive now. "Dr. Carter, I'm going to ask you one last time. Please leave the lounge." Maya's eyes met his. Calm, steady. "You keep using my name," she said, "but no one's verifying it. Why?" Kevin rolled his eyes and muttered under his breath, "Because it doesn't belong here." That comment didn't go unnoticed. Ryan caught it on camera. Isabella stepped in between Maya and Miguel. "This is slander," she said. "You're accusing someone of breaking the law when you haven't done the most basic thing. Check the system." Erica folded her arms. "The system's experiencing delays," she said, voice dismissive. "And we don't need to check it when she's not even on the printed guest sheet." Maya took a breath, glancing around the room. "So let me get this straight," she said, her voice cool but cutting. "You've decided I'm not a valid guest based solely on a sheet of paper, while your digital system is down, and you're calling me a trespasser?" Kevin didn't answer. Erica looked away. The tension in the room grew thick. Ryan kept recording. Isabella stepped closer to Maya. "Don't go anywhere," she whispered. "They're digging themselves into a hole." In a quiet corner of the lounge, Chloe Adams, a junior director at the airport and longtime colleague of Maya's, had just entered unnoticed. She recognized the commotion. Her brows furrowed as she pulled out her iPad and quietly stepped behind a column to check the digital access log. Her fingers flew over the touchscreen, and then she saw it. Maya's membership had been manually flagged as unauthorized by a supervisor. Laura Bennett, just minutes before the confrontation. Chloe's jaw tightened. She didn't speak yet. She needed to be sure. Meanwhile, back near the entrance, Miguel took another step forward. "If you don't leave now, I'll have to escort you out physically." Maya didn't flinch. "Touch me," she said slowly, "and you'll be fired before your shift ends." Miguel hesitated. Erica barked, "Do it. She's lying. She doesn't even work in aviation. Just look at her." Ryan turned his camera to Erica's face. Her arrogance was unmistakable. Maya stood perfectly still. "I've worked in aviation for 15 years, she said, "and I've faced this kind of assumption more times than I can count." Her voice dropped slightly. "You're not the first to try and rewrite the truth because of how I look, but you might be the last to do it in this lounge." Isabella turned to Kevin. "You're going to regret this," she said. Kevin shrugged. "You're not even staff," Isabella shot back, "and that's why I can speak freely." Maya's hands stayed at her sides, her posture calm, even as 3 employees and 1 security officer continued treating her like a criminal. "If you really believe I don't belong here," she said, "then check the access logs, search the system, use your cameras, but you won't, because the truth doesn't support the story you've already chosen to believe." Kevin's face flushed, just slightly. Ryan's video had now surpassed 600,000 views in under an hour. Then came the whisper that changed the tone entirely. "Ryan." Still filming. muttered under his breath but close enough for the mic to catch. They faked the list. Maya turned to him. What did you say? He nodded at his screen. I know how this works. This same thing happened in a lounge in Atlanta. Staff deleted a guest name from the log before claiming the person didn't belong. It was exposed on TikTok last year. Went viral. Isabella gasped. You think they did that here? Ryan replied. Wouldn't be the first time. Erica scoffed. Conspiracy theories? Really? But Chloe, still near the back of the room, had seen enough. Her eyes locked on the timestamp of the database change. Unauthorized removal. User L. Bennett. 30 minutes ago. Maya looked directly at Kevin. If my name was there and someone deleted it, you've got a much bigger problem than this lounge. She turned to Miguel. And if you put your hands on me, you'll be dealing with more than just a wrongful removal. You'll be explaining why you used force on a verified guest with a clean record and a digital trail. Miguel froze. He could feel the pressure shift. The murmurs around the lounge grew louder. Passengers were no longer just curious. They were visibly disturbed. Ryan added another update to the video. She's calm. They're lying. This is a setup. From the far corner, Chloe began walking toward the group, her iPad in hand, but she paused, choosing not to intervene just yet. She needed Maya to see the full scope of this bias, and Maya, for her part, was letting it unfold, for now. But in her mind, she was already preparing her next move. The tension in the Skylux lounge had reached a breaking point, just as Kevin and Erica continued pressing their false narrative that Dr. Maya Carter had snuck in. Chloe Adams, Junior Director of Airport Operations, quietly stepped forward with her iPad in hand. Her face was pale. Her voice, however, was steady. I checked the logs, she announced, standing just behind Erica's shoulder. Dr. Carter's membership was valid, until it was manually flagged as unauthorized 30 minutes ago. The words hit the room like a dropped glass. For a split second, no one moved. Then Erica turned sharply. That's impossible, she snapped. But Chloe didn't back down. She tapped her screen, holding up the digital timestamp. It was done from a lounge administrator login, specifically Laura Bennett's account. Kevin's mouth parted slightly, unsure whether to speak or stay quiet. Guests nearby started murmuring louder. Isabella stepped beside Maya. They changed your status in the system after you walked in? Maya gave a small nod. That's what it looks like, Chloe added. It wasn't an error. It was intentional. Miguel, the security officer, froze in place. His hand, still resting near his belt, slowly dropped to his side. Ryan's phone kept recording everything. The latest TikTok clip jumped past 900,000 views in real time. Laura's voice came through the radio again, cold and clipped. Remove her immediately. Chloe didn't even flinch. I just proved she's authorized. You can't remove her. Erica took a step back, suddenly unsure of herself. She's still not on the paper list, Kevin muttered. But now his tone lacked conviction. Isabella turned to him. You faked that list, didn't you? Kevin opened his mouth, then shut it. Maya, meanwhile, stood exactly where she had all along, hands still at her sides, calm and composed. You flagged me out of the system because I didn't look like your usual guests, she said. Her voice was low, not angry, but so sharp it sliced through every lie in the room. This wasn't a mistake. This was a cover-up. Ryan added a new caption to his growing video thread. They tampered with the system to kick her out. This is SFO's CEO. At that moment, guests began to rally. Two older passengers stood from their seats near the bar and moved toward the conflict. One of them, a retired federal judge, stepped forward. This is looking less like a misunderstanding, he said, and more like civil rights violation. Chloe nodded slowly. Exactly. Erica looked around, her certainty beginning to crumble. This isn't what it looks like, she mumbled, but it was too late. Miguel stepped away from Maya. Dr. Carter, I apologize. I was acting on the manager's instructions. Maya raised her eyebrow but said nothing. The damage was already done. And then Erica did something no one expected. She doubled down. This woman caused the whole scene. She's the one disturbing the lounge, she shouted, in one sweeping motion. She grabbed a nearby glass of sparkling water and tilted it sharply over the marble counter. The water splashed dramatically, pooling at Maya's feet. See? She's dangerous, Erica cried. Gasps echoed through the lounge. Ryan's phone captured it all, frame by frame, as Erica tossed the water and pointed at Maya like she was a threat. Enough! Chloe stepped in, her voice rising for the first time. I saw what you just did. You spilled that drink yourself. On purpose. Isabella moved in front of Maya, shielding her from Miguel's renewed movement. You're framing her now? Isabella yelled. This is a setup! Kevin backed away, visibly shaken. Miguel's face reddened with regret. I didn't see the spill, he muttered. Chloe turned to him. Of course you didn't, because it didn't happen until Erica staged it. The guests erupted in outrage. Two women began filming with their phones. A man shouted, This is criminal! Another woman near the back demanded, Where are the cameras? Check the footage! Maya, still soaked from the ankles down, wiped her hands calmly with a tissue. You just made the biggest mistake of your career, she said quietly to Erica. Erica's confidence vanished. Her hands trembled. I didn't mean, she stammered. You meant every word, Maya replied, and every action. Ryan updated his TikTok again. They staged a fake spill to frame her. This isn't just bias, it's sabotage. Within 6 hours, that clip would pass 4 million views. Guests began walking up to Maya, offering quiet words of support. Some placed hands on her shoulder. One whispered, We're with you. Maya nodded, not smiling, but grateful. Chloe stepped beside her, lowering her voice. The board needs to hear this. Ethan's already on his way. Maya nodded. Let them see the footage. Let them hear the audio. I want everything documented. Then Laura's voice returned through Erica's earpiece, this time more anxious. What's happening out there? Erica didn't answer. She couldn't. She was frozen in place, the reality of her actions finally settling in. Kevin looked at Maya, wide-eyed. You're really the CEO? He asked. Maya looked him square in the eye. Yes. I'm the reason this lounge exists. I'm the reason you have a job here. And today, I'm the reason you'll lose it. Miguel stepped aside. Entirely silent now, Chloe added. I've already archived the tampered access log and flagged the admin override to the IT team. There's no erasing this. Guests began clapping, not wildly, but steadily, slowly, like a wave of relief moving through the room. Maya didn't acknowledge the applause. Her focus was locked on Erica, Kevin, and the stunned silence pouring through Laura's still-open audio channel. You didn't just disrespect me, Maya said. You disrespected the thousands of passengers who pass through this terminal every day, people who deserve better. Then, softly, she added, and now they will get better. Chloe turned to her iPad again, this time forwarding the flagged system logs directly to board members David Wu and Sophia Nguyen. Isabella stood to Maya's left, Ryan to her right. Both of them silent now, simply present. Maya's phone buzzed in her pocket. A message from Ethan. 2 minutes away? Want me to bring HR? Maya replied with a single word. Yes. She looked out across the lounge, at the guests still watching, the staff now too quiet, and the mess that wasn't hers but was left at her feet. And then she took a deep breath. The turning point had arrived. The crisis exploded in seconds. Erica, already unraveling, took a final reckless step. She pointed directly at Dr. Maya Carter and shouted, "She just knocked over that tray! She's causing a disturbance!" Her voice rose so high it pierced the soft music playing overhead in the Skylux VIP lounge. Everyone turned, but they didn't see Maya causing chaos. They saw her standing exactly where she had been, motionless, calm, and completely composed. The only thing that had changed was the tray of glasses now on the floor, tipped from a nearby side table moments earlier, by Erica herself. "She did that!" Erica cried again, her finger trembling, her voice cracking under the pressure. Kevin, his face pale, backed her up instinctively, shouting, "This is a safety issue! Get her out of here now!" But the guests had seen enough. Isabella stepped forward, raising her arm between Maya and the approaching security officer. "No, that didn't happen the way she's saying. I watched Erica walk past that table and tip the tray herself. Maya never moved." Chloe Adams followed quickly behind, raising her iPad as if it were a badge. "We have this on camera," she said firmly. "Don't touch Dr. Carter." Miguel Ortiz, who had been summoned again by Laura's voice over the earpiece, froze midway through his advance. "Is this true?" he asked, eyes darting between Chloe and Isabella. "It is," Chloe confirmed. "And I'll be reporting this to the board." Ryan Kim, already recording, uploaded another clip in real time, tagging it. "They faked a spill to frame her. Watch what really happened." That video would pass 4 million views in just 6 hours. The comment section exploded. People were no longer just watching. They were choosing sides, and overwhelmingly, they stood with Maya. Isabella turned to the other passengers. "She's being set up. You can all see that now, right?" Several people nodded. One man shouted, "Check the cameras," another woman asked loudly. "Why hasn't anyone been suspended yet?" Chloe's voice cut through the noise. "That's coming," Erica tried again, this time more desperately. "She's escalating everything. She's trying to ruin us." Maya finally spoke. Her voice was low but commanding. "No, Erica, you ruined yourselves. I just stood still and gave you the rope." The silence that followed was heavy. Kevin looked like he might be sick. Miguel stepped back completely, no longer willing to act without clear evidence. Even Laura Bennett, still listening on the open radio line, offered no more instructions. Her silence said everything. Maya looked toward Chloe. "Is Ethan here?" Chloe nodded. "He's in the terminal. 5 minutes away." Maya turned to Erica. "You just fabricated an incident. You tried to falsely accuse a verified guest of misconduct, and you did it on camera. Why?" Erica didn't answer. Her face was pale now, her breath shallow. She looked down at the spilled water and shattered glass, suddenly aware of how far she'd gone, and how much she had to lose. Ryan's camera kept rolling. "This is textbook racial profiling," he said under his breath. "And now it's a full-on smear campaign." The latest TikTok clip was already trending with the hashtag #OurSkyluxSlander. Isabella turned to Maya. "We've got your back. Whatever you need," Chloe added. "Everything's archived, system logs, camera footage, time-stamped messages. It's all here." Maya gave a small nod but kept her attention on the staff around her. "You weren't just wrong," she said, her voice steady. "You were deliberate. You didn't stumble into this. You planned it." She looked at Kevin. "You supported it." She looked at Erica. "You staged it." She looked at Miguel. "You followed orders without asking a single question." And then she looked around the lounge, speaking to everyone. "But you forgot one thing. I don't answer to you. You answer to me." The ripple of realization was visible in every face present. A quiet gasp, A shared glance. Guests began whispering. She's in charge? Wait, is she really the CEO? Chloe turned and confirmed it out loud. Doctor, Maya Carter is the CEO of this airport, and she's my direct superior. Erica backed into the desk, her hands shaking now. We didn't know, she mumbled. Maya stepped forward, not aggressively, but with quiet control. You didn't want to know, she replied. You saw my face and made a decision. Then you buried the evidence and built a lie. And when that wasn't enough, you poured water on the floor and blamed me for the mess you made. Her voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. Every word landed with the weight of a verdict, Kevin whispered. We followed protocol. Chloe stepped in instantly. You followed bias. That's not policy. That's discrimination. Ryan posted a new update. She stayed calm while they lied, pushed, and spilled drinks. The world needs to see this. The damage was now irreversible. Maya didn't need to argue. The evidence was doing the work for her. Still, she remained in control of every second. This lounge was supposed to represent comfort, class, and professionalism, she said. But today it became a stage for bias and humiliation. She turned to Miguel. You still have time to make the right choice. He nodded slowly. I won't touch her, he said. Not after what I saw. Maya didn't smile. She wasn't here for personal satisfaction. She was here to correct a system that allowed this to happen in the first place. Then step aside, she said. And he did. The lounge was quiet now, except for the hum of Ryan's camera and the occasional sound of broken glass being swept up by another staff member. Chloe checked her messages. Ethan's almost here, and he's bringing backup. Maya nodded. She turned back to Erica one last time. If you have anything to say, now's your moment. Erica looked up, blinking fast. I thought... But she couldn't finish, because there was nothing left to say. Maya looked at Kevin. You? Kevin shook his head. I was wrong, he whispered. Maya didn't respond. Her silence was more powerful than any lecture. She turned to the passengers, some clapping quietly, others simply watching. Thank you for seeing what was true, she said. Then to Chloe, let's get ready. Because what came next was no longer a crisis. It was a reckoning. Ethan Moore arrived exactly 7 minutes after the staged spill, moving through the glass doors of the Skylux VIP lounge with brisk purpose, flanked by 2 uniformed airport HR officers whose badges caught the overhead light like small gleaming mirrors. He carried a slim laptop under one arm, a printed folder under the other, and, most importantly, a look of unflinching resolve. He walked straight to Dr. Maya Carter, lowered his voice just enough for nearby phones to pick up every syllable, and said, The board is on standby. They want your go-ahead. Maya nodded once, then turned to face the staff who had tried so hard to evict her. Ladies and gentlemen, she began, her voice carrying the calm gravity of an air traffic controller guiding planes through a storm. Some of you know me only as a passenger. Allow me to clarify. She reached into her blazer pocket, withdrew her airport-issue photo badge, and held it up for all to see. The image showed her in the same gray suit, standing in front of the SFO seal. Under it, in clear block letters, were the words, Chief Executive Officer. Gasps rippled across the lounge like distant thunder. Kevin's shoulders slumped. Erica pressed a trembling hand to her mouth. Even Miguel, the security officer, stepped back as though the revelation carried physical force. Maya let the silence stretch, allowing everyone to absorb the reality that the woman they had maligned not only belonged in the lounge but outranked every person within it. This, she continued, tapping the badge gently, means that the authority you invoked against me today actually flows from me, and I am now revoking it. with a subtle hand gesture. She signaled Ethan. He opened the laptop, projected the live feed from Ryan Kim's viral TikTok onto the lounge's large information screen, and played the montage of clips. Erica calling Maya economy, Kevin shouting unauthorized entry, the falsified paper list, and the staged spill, all time-stamped, unedited, undeniable. The view counter rolled past 18 million as they watched. Public scrutiny is immediate, Maya said, her tone still measured yet steely. But internal accountability is permanent. She looked at Erica first. Your employment with Skylux and any contracted airport entity is terminated, effective this moment. Erica's knees buckled. She caught herself on the desk. Maya turned to Kevin. You are likewise terminated for your role in falsifying records and perpetuating harassment. Kevin nodded weakly, unable to speak. She pivoted to the open radio channel so Laura Bennett could hear every word. Laura, you authorized the database tampering. HR is waiting outside to collect your badge. Do not return to duty. A stunned silence crackled back through the earpiece. Finally, she faced Miguel. Officer Ortiz, you followed unlawful orders without due verification. You are relieved of lounge duty pending a full review. Surrender your post and cooperate with HR. Miguel removed his security lanyard, handed it to the nearest HR officer, and stepped aside. Guests erupted in quiet applause. No cheering, just a solemn, approving rhythm that filled the lounge with a sense of restored order. Maya raised one hand, and the clapping eased. Please understand, she told the onlookers, this is not about revenge, it is about responsibility. When bias hides behind procedure, leadership must expose it. She glanced at Ethan, who nodded and forwarded the termination documents to the board in real time. Chloe Adams stepped closer, iPad in hand. The IT team has locked the system changes. Dr. Carter, she reported. Audit trail is secured. We're also flagging similar overrides across all partner lounges. Maya acknowledged her with a grateful nod. Good. Transparency starts today. Isabella Lopez spoke up from the passenger cluster. Dr. Carter, what can we do to support your reforms? Maya turned toward her, softened her tone. Share the truth. Let people know what you witnessed. Bias loses its power in daylight. Ryan Kim held up his phone. Already doing it, he said, and the live stream chat scrolled so fast it looked like snowfall. Ethan addressed the crowd next. We will be instituting immediate anti-bias retraining, anonymous reporting tools, and a third-party audit of all lounge practices. Details will be released through official channels within 72 hours, Maya added. And I will personally oversee the first training session. No corner of this airport will operate on prejudice while I'm in charge. A ping sounded from Ethan's laptop. An incoming message from board member David Wu. Terminations approved. Full support. Another from Sophia Nguyen followed. Press statement drafted. Ready when you are. Maya read them, then looked at the audience once more. For anyone concerned about their flight connections, she said, please know the lounge will remain open under interim management. Complimentary upgrades and meal vouchers are being processed as we speak. Her emphasis on passenger care, right after executing 4 firings, demonstrated a dual focus that resonated with the older travelers in the room, many of whom nodded appreciatively. Erica finally found her voice, whispering, We didn't know who you were. Maya regarded her evenly. That's precisely the point. Courtesy should never depend on status. If you demanded to see power before you offered respect, you were never suited for customer service. Kevin looked at the shattered tray, then at Maya. I made a terrible mistake. Maya's reply was steady. Correct it by learning from it. Wherever life takes you next. HR officers guided both of them toward the exit, where local police waited to document the falsified accusations. Laura Bennett, escorted out from her office minutes later, avoided Maya's gaze, but the camera feed caught everything. ensuring accountability could not slip quietly through the side door. When the departures were complete, Maya stepped to the center of the lounge. She addressed passengers and remaining staff alike. Today, we experience the cost of unchecked bias. Tomorrow, we start demonstrating the value of conscious inclusion. She paused, letting each word settle like a gentle but immovable weight. I invite all of you to hold us accountable. My email is public. My door is open. And the next time you walk through any lounge at this airport, you should feel respected before we know your title or your ticket class. Another round of applause followed, warmer this time. Some passengers wiped tears, others simply looked relieved. Ethan closed the laptop, satisfied. Chloe spoke quietly to Maya. The Paris flight is still on schedule. We can rebook you in a quiet suite if you'd like a moment before boarding. Maya smiled, a hint of fatigue showing through her composure. Yes, thank you. But first, let's personally apologize to every guest who witnessed this. They deserve to know we're serious. And so, she moved from table to table, greeting passengers, acknowledging their patience, ensuring each felt seen. Phones recorded her gestures, and those clips would further boost the narrative of decisive, compassionate leadership. Meanwhile, Ryan's final post of the evening carried a simple caption: Quiet power, loud justice. Within 24 hours, it would be featured on national news segments analyzing corporate accountability in real time. As Maya prepared to leave the lounge at last, she glanced back at the space that had become a theater of prejudice and, moments later, a platform for reform. Broken glass had been swept away. New staff stood at attention, and a subtle hum of respect replaced the earlier undercurrent of disdain. She straightened her jacket, exhaled, and whispered to herself, "This is only the beginning." Then she walked toward her gate, ready to board the flight that would carry her message of change far beyond the walls of one troubled lounge. The fallout came fast. By morning, the video of Dr. Maya Carter's humiliation and quiet retaliation had surpassed 18 million views across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Headlines swarmed in: Airport CEO falsely accused, fires entire lounge staff on the spot. Bias backfires at SFO. The quiet woman in gray changed everything. In the boardroom of San Francisco International Airport, Maya sat at the head of the long table, her gray suit freshly pressed, the sunlight catching the edge of her badge as David Wu and Sophia Nguyen joined via secure video link. Ethan Moore stood beside her, laptop open, files stacked across from them. HR officers and department heads gathered in tense silence. The meeting began with no introductions. Maya didn't need them. She spoke clearly. "We're not just responding to a viral video. We're responding to a systemic failure. A failure to see, to question, and to protect." David Wu, chair of the board, nodded slowly. "Effective immediately," he said. "Erica Sullivan, Kevin Tran, Laura Bennett, and Miguel Ortiz are officially terminated. Final notices signed and processed," Sophia Nguyen added. "We've initiated a full investigation into Skylux policies and all third-party lounge vendors operating at SFO." Maya leaned forward slightly. "The footage speaks for itself. But the deeper concern is what we didn't see. How many others were turned away without the means or the courage to fight back?" She paused. "That changes now." Chloe Adams, seated near the end of the table, raised her hand. "We've already suspended override privileges in the Skylux database. Any manual flagging will now require dual authorization and a written justification stored in our audit log," Ethan added. "We're also implementing mandatory anti-bias training for all customer-facing staff. Airport-wide," Maya nodded. "And that includes management." She glanced down at the agenda. "Within 72 hours, We'll release a public statement acknowledging the incident, the firings, and the reforms now in place. Meanwhile, public trust teetered. The Skylux brand suffered immediate reputational damage. Dozens of frequent flyers canceled memberships. Partner airlines requested emergency meetings. National networks replayed clips of Erica's accusation, Kevin's smirk, and Miguel's blind compliance, followed by Maya's quiet authority and public termination announcements. But within that media storm, something else took root: admiration. Ordinary travelers saw not just a CEO, but a leader who stood her ground with dignity, patience, and precision. Maya refused to spin the story. She shared it. In a recorded video from her office, she looked straight into the lens and said, "This happened to me, but it could have happened to someone without the title, the badge, or the voice to fight back. I acted for them." That message alone reached over 6 million views on TikTok. In the comments, thousands of people shared their own airport bias experiences. One wrote, "I was denied lounge access at LAX because the staff assumed my black card was fake. I had no proof, no voice. She spoke for all of us." Still, the revelations weren't done. Ethan discovered a buried line in the Skylux vendor agreement, an internal policy favoring select profiles for entry screening, based on non-public data points that could include travel patterns, dress code, and subjective guest familiarity. "This is discrimination dressed up as protocol," Ethan said during the next meeting. Sophia Nguyen responded sharply, "That clause was never authorized at the board level. It's a liability, and it's being removed today." Maya folded her hands. "We'll go further. Every lounge vendor at this airport will be audited. Every one." David Wu nodded. "You've got unanimous support." Isabella Lopez, now publicly recognized as the passenger who stood up in real time, was invited to speak at the press conference. She didn't prepare a speech. She simply said, "I watched them try to erase her, and I watched her restore herself, and all of us, with truth." Ryan Kim, who had filmed the original video, was offered a media license to distribute the footage to national outlets. He declined compensation and said, "I didn't film it for money. I filmed it because I knew what it looked like, and I wanted the world to see it too." Behind the scenes, Maya and Chloe met with senior leadership across departments. "Our problem wasn't just one group of biased employees," Chloe said. "It was a silent culture of permission," Maya agreed. "So we replaced that culture with accountability, with systems that don't just track access, but measure equity." They drafted a new directive. All future disciplinary reports involving guests would now require time-stamped video evidence and independent review. No more unchecked removals. No more whispered decisions made behind front desks. Word spread across SFO's staff community. Some felt defensive, others relieved, but most simply listened and learned. "She's not just the boss." One flight coordinator later said, "She's the reset button we didn't know we needed." As the week closed, Maya walked the terminal quietly, greeting frontline workers, no cameras, no press, just presence. She stopped at the Skylux lounge, now under interim supervision, and shook hands with new staff brought in after the firings. Some of them recognized her from the video and smiled nervously. "We're glad you're still here," one whispered. Maya replied, "I was never leaving. I was just waiting for the right moment to step in." And that moment had come, not just to punish, but to rebuild. 3 months later, on a crisp October afternoon, Dr. Maya Carter sat alone in the boardroom of San Francisco International Airport, reflecting on the storm that had passed, and the clarity it left behind. Outside the tall windows, planes lifted gently into a cloudless sky. Inside, the Skylux policy binders had been replaced by newly printed manuals stamped with the words "Equity Protocols," live implementation. The reforms weren't theoretical anymore. They were active, visible, and embedded in daily airport operations. Every lounge now operated under a cross-verified system that tracked not just guest access, but staff behavior. Every team had undergone certified anti-bias training. Guest removal protocols were rewritten from scratch, requiring documented justification, camera review, and third-party sign-off. The toxic culture that had once whispered through terminal corridors was now being rooted out, policy by policy, person by person. Maya stared at the documents, then stood, walking slowly to the floor-to-ceiling glass. Behind her, Chloe Adams entered quietly and said, "The last audit's in. No override flags, no guest complaints, no deletions." Maya gave a nod. "That's not perfection, but it's progress." Chloe stepped beside her, carrying an envelope. "Also, this came..." She handed Maya a letter from a former Skylux member. The handwriting was uneven but heartfelt. "You didn't just change a lounge. You changed how I feel walking into places like that. Like maybe next time, someone will look at me and see a person, not a problem." Maya held the letter for a moment, then tucked it into her pocket without a word. Across the country, the incident continued to ripple. The viral video, now archived in news features and academic case studies, was being used in corporate ethics seminars. Aviation conferences invited Maya to speak about leadership during silent emergencies. But she didn't deliver speeches full of buzzwords or brand language. She told the truth. "When I walked into that lounge," she said at one event, "I wasn't there to make a point. I just wanted to catch a flight. But when that moment came, I realized I had two choices. Either allow silence to speak louder than injustice, or let my position serve the people who didn't have one." The room always fell still when she said that. And afterward, professionals, executives, even gate agents would line up to thank her, not for firing people, but for showing what it meant to lead without yelling, to confront without violence, and to repair without delay. Back at SFO, Maya kept her door open, literally, every week. A new group of staff, janitors, tech support, receptionists, would come by for 10-minute check-ins. "How's it really going out there?" she'd ask. And she listened. That became her legacy more than the firings. Listening. But then, just when it seemed the work was done, a new twist emerged. A whistleblower from inside the Skylux vendor team sent a confidential memo to the airport's compliance office. The memo included screenshots of internal chat logs where staff had joked about flagging the wrong type of guests to keep the lounge looking on brand. Maya read the report in silence. Then she called Chloe, Ethan, and board members David Wu and Sophia Nguyen into an emergency meeting. "We said this was about reform," Maya told them. "Now we prove it." The next morning, she issued a statement. "SFO has zero tolerance for institutional bias in any form. We are reopening all flagged guest incidents from the past 12 months. Every decision will be reviewed. Every pattern will be investigated." Chloe worked day and night alongside a dedicated audit team. Isabella Lopez, now a volunteer advisor, helped with outreach, connecting with travelers who had previously been dismissed or ignored. Ryan Kim continued to amplify updates through his platform, reminding followers that justice isn't a moment, it's a process. Inside the lounge itself, change could be felt even in the small details. Greeters now wore pins reading, "Every guest is a welcome guest." Surveys were anonymous, responses analyzed quarterly, and Maya's photo quietly hung in the staff hallway, not in a frame of ego, but as a reminder of what silence once cost the lounge. She never asked for that photo. She hadn't even noticed it yet, but the staff kept it there anyway. One evening, as Maya walked through the terminal, she passed a young black woman hesitating at the lounge door. Maya paused, then gently said, You're welcome here. The woman smiled in surprise. Are you sure? She asked. Maya nodded, held the door open, and said softly, I made sure. That moment said more than any press release ever could. If this story moved you, share it. Let it be a reminder that respect should never depend on appearance, title, or status. And if you've ever been judged before being heard, know this: silence is no longer an option. We see you. We stand with you. And like Dr. Maya Carter, we rise